Seasons come and go like thoughts of you. Like a wave returns to the sea, into the blue. They change but in a cycle that I can't lose. Each painful but delightful to live through. You came into my life, just like another season. Not for them, just a time, just like another season. You came into my life, just like another season. Not for them, just a time, just like another season. The seasons turn and change just like your mind. Like the sun gives into the moon, into the night. Time continues marching.
Well, good evening. Welcome back to WCU Esports. Earlier tonight, we saw WCU Valorant play, taking first place in their season, in their league. So that should be good as they enter the playoffs, number 1 seed. But now it is all about WCU Crimson. Earlier tonight, they had a match at 7 that we couldn't stream. And if you didn't get the chance to tune into Valorant, we did give you an update. They won that series 3-0 against a team that was at the time tied for second place, Swosu Gray, who were 4-1 on their semester. So now they're sitting at 4-2. WCU, knowing that Swosu has beaten Fort Lewis, looking to take on Fort Lewis now, and later they will be taking on Utah Valley. Back-to-back series. Should be a good night. My name's Sparky.
I'm Benchy.
Well, Benchy, knowing what you know now after hearing that little preamble, what do you expect to see from WCU Crimson tonight?
Well, I'm thinking since Swosu, was it?
Swosu.
They beat Fort Lewis, combining Fort Lewis together. And so they beat them. So hopefully WCU Crimson will just do well tonight and we'll be able to beat them.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look back at when those two teams played, because I don't quite know, because that's also very indicative of teams. Okay, that was week 2 of the season, but it was a pretty solid showing from Swosu Gray against Fort Lewis Gold. Swosu having taken them down 3-1 series score. And we don't know who scored what goals for Swosu, but it was a 4-3, 4-2, 4-3 series for games 1, 2, and 4, whereas Fort Lewis took game 3, 2-1. So a close series from those two teams. And knowing that the Mountaineers played earlier, I didn't get a chance to say the game scores because I didn't know them at the time. It was 1-0, 4-3, 2-1. But as I hear in the background, we do have our game starting momentarily. Lobby is up. We are just about underway for WCU versus Fort Lewis. And I was just making a comment earlier. I'm actually really excited about this. Fort Lewis did actually do the game name and password. That is something that we've seen that happen with the other teams. Not really the main thing. They've been using certain password requirements for WCU's gameplay, but, you know. Sorry, I'm a little distracted tonight, a little tired. It's a late night start. We are at 9 p.m. here in Gunnison, Colorado at Western Colorado University. I mean, it's the same time for Fort Lewis, so late nights, it just comes down to who's locked in and who's ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully for WCU Crimson, they're locked in tonight and they can just win this one and go have like almost a guarantee to get into the playoffs. Right now, they're like...
So WCU is 4-1 with their win earlier tonight against Swosu. Fort Lewis College, though, also sitting at that 4-1 slot. And then Utah Valley University, who'll come right after this series, is 2-4 on their season. So it should be interesting to see how everything happens, but looks like everything is good to go for this game as we get ready to dive straight on in. Game 1 in this best of 5 series, WCU in orange. And there we go, got that overlay fixed. And, oh, starting things out quick, it's Bunla for the Mountaineers. Ooh, he faked that shot on Biscuit and played it low. And then a double tap over U3Q. Bunla, what a way to start your night, my friend.
Yeah, first 8 seconds of the game and already getting a goal. That's a pretty good start for WCU Crimson. We have seen like WCU Black start off like this and then just lose it to like Colorado College, I think it was. So hopefully tonight WCU Crimson can hold that momentum and keep going.
Well, and funnily enough, this actually started out the same way Fort Lewis against, I think it was Fort Lewis, I forget what their team name was, their color was, but whatever team played against Black the other week had the same start where they were down 1-0 and WCU held their lead. This was actually just earlier this week too, where WCU was holding the lead. Oh no! And Bunla shoots it just over top of the net. But WCU held a 1-0 for, I think it was the first 2.5 or like 3.5, 4 minutes of the game. And then they lost that lead in the dying seconds and just fell shy. And that killed their momentum and killed the series.
Yeah, so hopefully tonight Crimson can stay up and just keep that momentum going.
Well, and speaking of staying up in momentum, we see Bunla on the attack again, almost finding Snowflake in the middle. And Thing tries to beat out Castlemaster, who is ready to go. Finds a center, but to nobody, as Bunla with no boost gets bumped off that ball. And Fort Lewis is now maintaining some control.
I think as we're seeing right here, WCU is just staying on the offensive side, and Fort Lewis can't get it across most of the time. And so it's going well for WCU Crimson.
Yeah, the Mountaineers taking control of the Skyhawks, but we're not even halfway through game 1 yet as Biscuit finds a center, but it's just over top of Castlemaster, and Snowflake with the long ball clear off of the post and off the other post. Snowflake going to be kicking himself for that one as he had a chance to extend the Mountaineers' lead, and it's a shot coming from Biscuit that was cleared away by Thing on a quick counterattack. So it's a lot of back and forth right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a bummer that Snowflake could not make that goal because that would have just put their lead way ahead of them and made it more difficult.
But
there's Bunla with the perfect shot right there, stealing it from, who was that?
That was Snowflake. He found it off of Snowflake,
go.
Took the pass, and stopped that pass from U3 over to, I think it was Biscuit on the back line. Or it might have been Castlemaster. It was one of those two. Has to be. But that said, WCU extends their lead to 2. But as I was about to say, Benchy, from what you were saying, extending their lead's nice and all. But from what we know of sports as a whole, especially net sports, 2-goal leads are the most dangerous.
This is true.
As we see right a long ball from Biscuit puts it back within reach.
Yep, with 2 minutes, and I think we're halfway, right?
Just about halfway. It's 2.5 minutes is halfway in the game.
Yeah, so we're 2:23. So we're almost, with that 1 point lead, it's just hopefully WCU Crimson can keep it up there. Oh, on almost a good shot from, who was that, Bunla?
I would assume it was Bunla on the kickoff there, and Thing trying to find his back of the net, but can't quite do it. Snowflake with the shot towards net, but it's kept wide, and now it's cleared down. Castlemaster trying to find some momentum, missing his dash. Thing with nothing in the tank. It's Biscuit who has to make a big clear, and he does, getting his 3rd save of the game already. So now Thing goes with another shot attempt, but cleared away by Castlemaster. It's Snowflake who misses. Bunla throwing it towards net. Now it's going to be cleared away by Biscuit, controlled in the air for just a moment as Thing goes up to challenge. It's a low play, but Bunla's there to stop that one and clear it wide.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here for WCU Crimson is they're just on the offensive a lot of the time, and they get it back across. So Fort Lewis doesn't have time to try to get those shots on goal like we're seeing from WCU Crimson.
And we do see opportunities come, but when they do come, they don't stay for long, as someone like Bunla is always there to just keep that ball in that offensive half, as there is a fake coming from Bunla, but cleared away by Castlemasta with another save for Fort Lewis tonight. Bunla with 5 shots already just in the first game of this series. And a lot of... Oh, that's a weird pinch. It's bar out. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Biscuit going to be sad about that one. That could have been a great equalizer for Fort Lewis, killing all of the Mountaineer momentum, but it just was not quite enough.
Yeah, it was a bummer for Fort Lewis being just the tiniest bit above and just not being able to hit it in there. I thought it was going to bounce back in once it hit the crossbar, but sadly the bounces are not in their favor.
But they're in the favor of Bunlaw, as he gets a nice slow roller pass from Snowflake, getting his second assist of the night, and Bunlaw able to just sneak that one past the defense of Fort Lewis. So WCU Crimson 3-1 with 36 seconds left on the clock. I'm not going to say it yet, but it's close to the point where there is no return for Fort Lewis in this one, at least.
Yeah, with that 2-point lead with only 20 seconds, they've got to get a goal right here soon, and
it's not going to happen there. Bunla finding an assist for Thing. You can see it here, though. Bunla bumping Castlemasta out of the way of that shot. Oh, my goodness. And it looks like we're getting some help on the stat side from Fort Lewis. 2 schools working as one to get everything marked in. I haven't done this yet, but Fort Lewis marked WCU as winner of Game 1 no matter what happens here. Both teams looking for a goal on the road. Snowflake looks for that playmaker, but doesn't quite get it as Thing centers. It's off the backboard. Bunla almost finds another one. Snowflake keeps it up. And with that touchdown, it will be Game 1 in favor of WCU.
That was definitely a good game for WCU. I think they kept it on the offensive a lot of that time. Let's see, how many shots on goal did Fort Lewis had? Only 5 versus the 11 of WCU Crimson. They just kept it on the offensive, and that worked in their favor.
Absolutely. And to Fort Lewis's credit, of 4 goals that Western had, there were 11 shots and 6 saves coming from the Skyhawks in that one. So they played some really solid defense, but the issue here becomes, how do we make sure that instead of just having that defense, how do we make sure we turn that into attacking opportunity, especially with someone like Bunla, who takes the leaderboard in this one with 649 points on the top of WCU's to Biscuit's 539 from Fort Lewis. 3 saves, 5 shots for Biscuit in that one. Just a hard-fought battle in game number 1. So as we get near game 2 in this series, what are you looking for from WCU, Benchy?
Kind of thinking that they're going to keep their offensive tactics like they had in this last bit. They just kind of keeping up that offensive, had a lot more chances to score the goal, obviously. And so that helped them a lot more than Fort Lewis had the chances to score. Yeah.
Close enough. But kickoff now for game 2 in this best of 5 underway. Biscuit now with a good chance, pops it just over top of Thing, but it's cleared away from Snowflake. Oh my goodness, Biscuit thinking he had a free shot into the back of the net, but Snowflake charging back defensively to keep that one out, and Thing with a long goal. So as I was talking about earlier, Benchy, with that counterattack off of those big defensive plays, we see it right there. What did you notice on that one that really was Fort Lewis's downfall?
They just didn't really have anyone prepared for that comeback, I guess. You know, they didn't expect Thing to launch it all the way across, and so that really didn't go great for them. They had U3Q halfway, but he just was not quick enough to get back to defend their goal.
Yeah, and the issue there is that you're just not expecting the speed from that distance. You're not quite expecting it, especially after such a great shot coming from Biscuit, but Thing and Snowflake now taking all the points away from Bunla, taking control of this game, finding the back of the net with no boost on the side of Fort Lewis.
Yeah, they're definitely not letting Fort Lewis mess up, and when they do, they just score a goal like that there, and they're just right on them the entire time.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed coming from WCU at the moment. And, I mean, not much needs to be said there. Fort Lewis has to find a way to counter it and counter it fast. We're not even a minute into this one, and WCU, with all the pressure, all the speed and momentum on their side, looking to try and avenge their brethren on Rocket League Black, who fell 3-0 to the Eagles. WCU looking to try and make sure that they win 3-0 to really stand out as the second seed in this league. Good shot from Biscuit, just a little too high, as it's another shot from Castlemania, but a goal line save from Snowflake. Or Castlemaster, not Castlemania. And Biscuit with the shot again, but stopped by... It was Bumla that time out.
Yeah, WCU Crimson just has both their offensive game and their offensive game up tonight. Just blocking every single shot on goal and getting every shot on goal, really, and scoring a lot of those shots. And so, it's not going great for Fort Lewis right now. And
one of the things, too, is WCU's finding their aggression, finding their momentum, and they did play earlier, which sometimes can be a deficit, especially if it's a longer series, but a 3-0 win gives you confidence instead of cockiness. So you go into this one knowing you beat a team that has won this matchup so far this year. As we see another shot from Fort Lewis that Snowflake clears away, we can see that the game earlier tonight was really just a way for WCU to get their footing, as it's an unfortunate double, but it's kept out. Thing who had a shot was cleared away. I think it was by Castlemasta. No, it was not by Castlemasta. It might have been Biscuit who got that one. Thing with 2 goals, 3 shots, looking for another there, but cleared away by Castlemasta. And the Mountaineers have found every bit of momentum they can as Snowflake looks for a pass to Bunla, who came crashing in, but cleared away by U3Q. And I think it was Biscuit on the retreat there. But there, oh my gosh.
Dude, they are up on the defensive tonight. Like, I didn't expect Bunla to be there, and then he was just right there in the way. And
there's a lot of speed coming from the Mountaineers, like I said earlier, and I think that's a big piece of it is Fort Lewis wasn't ready for the amount of momentum that the Mountaineers would have, considering, 1, it's a late night, 2, they have another series immediately following this, and 3, they had a series earlier, as there was a shot from U3Q and from Biscuit that were both, or from Castlemasta, that were both kept out. Fort Lewis asking all the questions, finally getting an answer there, as it was Biscuit from Castlemasta. And a great bump on the back there, forcing Snowflake to have to make a panic save. And it's 2-1 in favor of the Mountaineers, but with 1:24 left, that's not quite the lead you were hoping for with all of the offense the Mountaineers were keeping.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they might have lost their momentum a little bit with just like how it was going earlier for those past few minutes, because they haven't been really keeping it on Fort Lewis's side. It's been kind of just stuck on WCU Crimson, which isn't always a bad thing. They sometimes can get it back really quick and get a goal.
Almost there, as we see a huge clear coming from Snowflake, throwing it down, forcing Biscuit to play a very defensive game off of his own back wall. And a good challenge from Thing keeps the pressure in Fort Lewis's half for just a moment, and a great clear from Bunla as he cuts across with no boost. Keeps the ball away. He passes to Thing, who finds the back of the net, reopening that lead. Oh my goodness. The Mountaineers have found their groove, and they are sticking with it, which is exactly what you want to see as they start to head towards a break. After tonight, we won't see WCU Rocket League back in action for 2 weeks, which will then be playoffs, assuming a win in either series tonight.
Yeah, hopefully they do well tonight. So far, knock on wood, they're doing pretty good with, getting all these goals with 30 seconds left on the game. It doesn't look too hopeful for Fort Lewis, but it's also still possible.
We almost saw a great save, or almost a great shot there. Oh my goodness, but Thing finds the back of the net, I think is that the 5th time from him tonight, if not 6th?
I don't remember.
But he takes it by himself, throws it past Biscuit. I was just about to comment on Bunla's behavior tonight, holding down the fort at home for the Mountaineers, keeping the ball out of the net at every twist and turn. nothing that Fort Lewis could do to keep or to stop or to read that and be prepared for such a defensive player. Snowflake passing now. Oh my goodness, almost a great play from WCU. Little miscommunication there, but that will do it. WCU wins. It's looking like it's going to be another 4-1 scoreline. Unless Bunla can find one for the road. He finds the pass to Thing, who misses the goal line shot. But WCU 4-1 twice in a row. You've got to think that there's something else that Fort Lewis will do here, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're planning on doing, but they have to change their strategy right now because it's just not going well for them. I think they went a little bit more aggressive for a bit there, and it kind of got them a goal, and they stayed on WCU's side. But they kind of lost it towards the end again, and they just got scored on twice, and it was not great for Fort Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look too at the stat sheet, Fort Lewis had 10 shots on net, but it was met by 6 saves. And keep in mind, some of those saves don't count just because WCU was, it was the same person getting a doubled up save. So it's not always because of A, B, or C. Like, sometimes it's shots on that were shot wide. Sometimes it's shots on that were shot into the same player 4 times. But when you have a team playing as strongly as WCU, you have to find a way to counter it. And they had the right idea of throwing shots on whenever they could, but it just wasn't quite enough this time for the Skyhawks to get an answer.
Yeah, hopefully for Fort Lewis, they decide to change their strategy and go more aggressive. Because
as we see there, double commit on the kickoff, but it's off of the crossbar and kept out as Castlemaster goes in, but it's Bunlaw again keeping that one out for the Mountaineers. Biscuit now going with speed, gets bumped off by Snowflake, but it's off the post. Shot off of the posts again! Oh my goodness, and Bunlaw again! Oh my gosh, there it goes. Finally, U3Q finds their goal for the night, but jeez, man. That was a stream of shots from Fort Lewis on WCU. It was only a matter of time before it went in, but hitting how many posts before?
Yeah, that was crazy. And right there is what I was saying a moment ago with them having to stay on the offensive side, and right there they were really aggressive, and it worked out for them.
Everything was in favor of Fort Lewis at that point. Great shot and great attack from them. And Bunla with 2 saves now, or with 3 off of that one. As we near just a minute in, Snowflake looking for the center, but not quite able to find someone. I'm trying to update these stats live as we go too. So for anyone tracking on the League OS site, they can see the stats and everything get updated in real time. Biscuit with some great control. Tries to get it past Thing, who blocks it and throws it back downfield. Castlemaster throws it over Snowflake. It's going to have to be Bunla for the Mountaineers to control, which he does. He gets it up high. He's off the ceiling. He beats past U3Q. Biscuit controls it, almost throws it on net, but keeps it away for just a moment so he can try and stall out his team's recovery. I mean, this is looking like a really good series right now, but Snowflake with a beautiful answer with the pass from Bunlaw. There's not enough you can do if you're Fort Lewis right now. The Mountaineers seem to have every possibility covered no matter where you place the ball, no matter where you place yourself.
Yeah, definitely. They have the angles just perfect right now, and it's going in their favor.
And the Mountaineers with speed again. That's something that I don't think Fort Lewis was quite expecting, was how fast this Crimson team would be. Obviously, it's easy to think of one thing or another, but the passing is a whole other level. Bunla, knowing he didn't have the angle, he throws it off the back wall, and Thing diving in with no boost, gets it past Castlemaster, pops it over the top of Biscuit, and WCU retakes the lead just seconds after they found an evener, or found the tying goal. And they almost find another one here, but it's a beautiful save from Castlemaster off of Snowflake's long shot. The Mountaineers finding all the pressure, almost a great passing play. As you can see, Bunla trying to take control of U3Q's car as opposed to the ball itself. Snowflake with a shot chance, but just misses. Bunla with the chance, putting it wide, doubles it towards net. Biscuit pops it high middle. Thing goes up to try and beat. He places it on, and it's an accidental own goal. Oh my goodness, a lot happening there, but what it really boils down to is Thing was throwing it towards the net for some pressure, and U3Q, not knowing Castlemasta, had the position behind him to stop it, only seeing Bunla in front, accidentally redirects it into the back of their own net.
Yeah. It's a bummer for Fort Lewis. Now they're 2 points behind, which is obviously going to be possible in 2 minutes and 30 seconds since we're only halfway done. But it's still a comeback that they have to make.
And they're on the verge of the series going out as well. Like, they need to start to step up a little bit more just to have something else go in any regard, right? Like, they need something to start to click. Oh my gosh. In that fake, that is not how you do it, but that's a fake from Snowflake. You can see this challenge from Bunla. He doesn't get the shot credit there, and it just bounces in off the crossbar. Snowflake probably could have had that shot, but every bounce seems to be against Fort Lewis at this point with 2:18 left. And that kickoff, too, there's just nothing you can do to stop that, stop the momentum the Mountaineers have rolling for them right now.
Yeah, they definitely have so much momentum. I mean, 2 games, 1-4, and then now this one, which is 1-5 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left.
Almost half of the game.
Yeah.
But Biscuit with a great opportunity here to take control and throw it downfield to try and at least close that gap a little bit. Looks for the pass, but isn't able to connect. This is looking like 2 different teams. I mean, more so than normal, right? Like, WCU Crimson obviously has a lot of great moments, but you don't typically see something as strong of a performance as this from game 1 to game 3, right? The Mountaineers have had a phenomenal night, and it doesn't stop now, as it was an intentional pass from Snowflake to Thing on that one. You can see Thing reading Biscuit's save and putting it just past him. I mean, WCU, you are standing out tonight. Snowflake goes in for the goal himself, just gets blocked wide. Bunla goes for what would have been a phenomenal redirect off the sidewall. Biscuit for the shot. It's off the crossbar. It's off the post. He finds everything but the back of the net on that.
Tonight is just not going well for Fort Lewis. I mean, right there, 2 posts in a row, and then earlier with all those, crossbars in the posts and just everything.
Oh my gosh.
And right there too.
It's save after save from WCU, and it's shot after shot for Fort Lewis. They just can't get enough to the back of the net, or rather, they can't find enough to pass the Mountaineers in that defensive quarter of the field. And Snowflake, great save from Castlemania. That was almost devastation for Fort Lewis. As Snowflake goes in, gets a shot towards net, but not on it. And he's going to have another shot here. At least throwing it wide. Bunla getting the bump. Biscuit clearing out. I mean, standout performance from Biscuit considering everything that's happening tonight. He has been playing out of his mind, finding everything he can for himself, for his teammates, but he just can't break this wall that is the Mountaineer defense. And they almost found it there, but they don't quite get it. As now it's Thing with control. U3Q pops it off the side. Bunla tries to keep the attack for WCU. And with 2 seconds left, it's a center. Not quite enough speed from Thing to finish that one. But WCU will take this series 3-0, securing playoffs, folks. Just 5 minutes before they play UVU in the last game of the regular season.
That was definitely a really good set of games for WCU. I mean, they were just on the offensive the entire time, and it was crazy.
I mean, absolute insanity from this team. You can see it. Bunla with 4 saves, all 4 saves for the Mountaineers, tying the amount that Fort Lewis got as a team. 11 shots from the Mountaineers. Absolutely insane. And for 4 saves, that means only one of those was not somewhere that was on net, or rather was one that was not double saved, which I think it was. I mean, fantastic performance from both teams. I will give credit to Fort Lewis. They played a fantastic game, but even despite playing a fantastic game, you have to admit, in this one, the Mountaineers were just playing a better version of it.
Yeah, and also the luck with Biscuit hitting the crossbar and the posts all the time, and all the other guys too. It just did not work out in their favor.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Benchy. But I think for now, folks, we'll take a step away from WCU esports. We'll take a pause in the recording as we get ready for WCU versus it is going to be Utah Valley here in just a few minutes. But for now, signing off, Sparky.
I'm Benchy.
We'll catch you guys in just a few minutes.
The seasons turn and change just like your mind.